I was filming the other day in the gym, and someone came and asked me a simple question. They were like, "Dude, how do you gain the confidence to post in public?" Like, I could never imagine myself actually lifting up my phone and either speaking to the camera or recording myself or even holding a tripod. Like, I feel so embarrassed. Like, I would love to do it, but I don't know how to do it, right? And it's kind of funny because it reminded me of where I used to be like a year ago, because I was in the exact same position as this guy. I was afraid. In fact, I wasn't even thinking about speaking to the camera like this. I had, even though I'd grown the confidence to actually post on social media consistently, most of the videos I made, in fact, all of the videos I made were non-talking head videos. So I had broken the barrier, or rather the first step of social media, which is posting regardless of what people are going to say. Because there's this common thing where you believe that once you start posting content, everyone is like, oh, who's this guy trying to be? Oh, and the reality is you actually will find people who will be saying those things about you, but you really shouldn't care. Now, to the answer, how do you actually break out that barrier of not giving a shit? Sorry for that. Now, everything dials down to clarity. And I love clarity because once you have clarity, right, true clarity, like the truest form of clarity, where you truly know that, okay, I genuinely want to be in this position in my life in the next 5 to 10 years. Once you truly know where you're trying to be, I promise you, no result, no opinion, no amount of judgment, no amount of self-doubt will stop you from acting upon that, because you realize just how much the pain of regretting you not even trying it out, or the pain of that level of regret, you understand just how much it's going to almost destroy you. So I am doing this for future me, because I have looked at myself in the past and I always look back. And it's so funny, even if you look back at your own life, it's extremely rare for you to look back and wish that you hadn't tried to go harder. 9 times out of 10, for most people watching this, you're always going to wish that you went harder. Even for me, when I started my journey in June 2023, I went hard, I tried, I got decent results, I kept fighting through the pain. But even then, I can look back and say, dang, I could have gone harder. So this is why for me, I'm picking up the camera, because I'm realizing that me in December, right, months from now, I am going to look back and probably wish that I should have posted more. Why? Because I know I can post more, you see. So that's the thing. Clarity is your best friend. Another thing you need to realize is people don't really care as much as you think they do. Yes, it may seem like now you're in a public space. Obviously, you're going to get a few eyes. Obviously, people are going to look at you. Why? Because you're doing something that's not in the norm. If you're holding a tripod, you're walking to the gym, or you're holding up your camera, or you're wearing a mic, obviously you're going to catch the attention of a few people. But more often than not, you're actually going to inspire more people. And another thing that's going to happen is people are going to forget about you the second you walk past them. So that's another thing. There's this thing where you believe that everyone in town or everyone in the city is looking at you and what you're doing. You need to realize that life is already stressful enough for most people. So for them to actually spend their time focusing on what you are doing, trust me. Okay, let's test this out. Do you remember what happened to that stranger? Unless maybe it's something that stood out to you. But do you remember what happened to those few strangers you saw today in the morning? You see what I'm saying? You can't even remember who you saw, their faces. They could literally walk past you again and you're not going to recognize them. So this is exactly what I mean when I say that we overthink so much and we get into our heads so much to the point where you believe that the whole world is watching you. And yet most people don't actually care about what you're doing. Another thing I need to clarify, the fear of not making it will always be there with you. Even for me, I show up, I'm trying my best. I'm enjoying through the pain of not seeing the results that I want to see. But the fact is, the fear of the possibility of all this going to waste will always be there. But for me, the fear of regret is even more painful. I spoke about this and I'm going to speak about this again because it's so true. I don't think you guys realize how painful it would be to sit on your deathbed at 95, look back and realize just how much you wasted. Wishing you could go back, but in that moment you realize that there's absolutely nothing you can do. Listen, guys, there's only one lap around this field, one chance, one opportunity, and that alone should be enough to scare you, to wake you up and realize that, dang, the world doesn't care whether or not I believe in myself. The world doesn't care whether or not I'm going to put in the work. But let me tell you who's going to care whether you put in the work. Future you is really going to care. I guarantee you, when you're older, you're genuinely going to care about the things and the decisions that you made when you were younger. Because the position you're going to be in life at that point will be as a result of all those decisions you made when you were younger. So they do matter. Unfortunately, you may not feel the consequence of not putting in as much action as you possibly can today, but life is fair. And for the most part, people get the things they deserve. So what's going to happen is life will happen and you're going to face the harsh reality or the reality of the choices that you're making today. Listen, I don't make the rules, but I know that the only guarantee is that if you don't put in any effort towards anything, the guarantee is that nothing will happen in your favor. However, if you wake up and try, the guarantee is that you stand a chance of making it. And let me tell you the funny thing about making it. When you actually do everything in your power, wake up every day, pray, work hard, work smart, network, use leverage the people around you, the systems, AI. I guarantee you, dude, funny enough, things will start working in your favor. I genuinely haven't met someone who has done everything in their power to try and improve their life. I'm talking about try. I'm not even talking about the elites, like people with the obsession level of Iman, Mr. Beast, MKHB. I'm talking about the average person that works hard, that studies, that tries their best to get a job, that tries their best to skill stack. I've never met anyone who has genuinely tried their best and still has failed. That's the funniest part. I don't know where we get this trick or where our minds trick us to believe that having an insane amount of work ethic will never get you anywhere. But truly speaking, it might not get you where you want to go, but it will definitely get you somewhere. And one thing I realized that most people don't actually want the things that they say they want as badly enough, right? I think a lot of people have wishes to win and become successful, but most people don't have the work ethic required to actually become that person. And it's so common amongst people where I can tell you that most people would lift their hands up if they're asked, oh, who wants to win one day? Oh, yes, I want it. I personally do want to win one day. But yeah, I think a lot of people are all talk because, don't get me wrong, the average person does work hard. Most people I've met, they go to school, they take the school seriously, and they end up with a decent enough job. But with regards to actually getting the dream life, I don't believe that most people want it as bad as they say they do. And I'm not surprised because it shows in the amount of work that they actually put in. Most people do not have an insane level of work ethic, and this is exactly why the top 1% exists. And this is why it will forever exist, because the system was always and will always be designed to have winners and losers. And when you have winners and losers, you also have people that are average. And average people are average because average is average. So yeah.